The Justice Department just dropped over 3 million files on Jeffrey Epstein. And the names inside? They're making some very powerful people very nervous. What just happened? On Friday, January 30th, 2026, the Department of Justice released its final batch of Epstein documents. 3 million pages, 2,000 videos, 180,000 images. This is the biggest single drop since Congress passed a law last year forcing the government to make everything public. The deadline was supposed to be December 19th. They missed it by 6 weeks. Now we know why they were stalling. These files show emails, text messages, flight logs, FBI tips, and witness statements connecting Jeffrey Epstein to some of the most powerful people in America and around the world. We're talking presidents, tech billionaires, cabinet members, foreign leaders, and the details? They're not vague, they're specific. Here's why this isn't just celebrity gossip. Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of sex trafficking minors. He died in jail in 2019 while awaiting trial on federal charges. For years, people suspected he had connections that helped him avoid serious consequences. Rich friends, political allies, people with power who looked the other way. These documents confirm it. They show Epstein wasn't just some isolated criminal. He was deeply embedded in elite circles. He had access, he had influence, and he used both. That means accountability, or the lack of it. Because if powerful people were involved, helped him, or ignored what was happening, the public has a right to know. And right now, some of those people are still in positions of power. Let's break down what's actually in these files. Donald Trump. Trump's name appears hundreds of times. Most of it comes from unverified FBI tips submitted by the public, many right before the 2020 election. The Justice Department said those claims are unfounded and false. Trump has denied all wrongdoing and has never been charged. But the files also show something confirmed. Trump flew on Epstein's private jet more often in the 1990s than previously known. Federal prosecutors learned this in 2020. Trump has said he banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago years ago and cut ties. No evidence in these files proves criminal conduct by Trump. Howard Lutnick. This one's new. Howard Lutnick is Trump's current Commerce Secretary. He's a billionaire who runs a major financial firm. Last year, Lutnick said he stopped associating with Epstein around 2005 after visiting his mansion and finding it disgusting. But emails released Friday show Lutnick planned a trip to Epstein's private island in December 2012. That's 7 years after he claims he cut ties. The emails show Lutnick, his wife, and their kids arriving on a yacht. They coordinated lunch with Epstein. The day after, Epstein's assistant sent Lutnick a message. "Nice seeing you." Lutnick told the New York Times on Friday, "I spent zero time with him," then hung up the phone. The Commerce Department said Lutnick had limited interactions with Epstein and was never accused of wrongdoing. Elon Musk. Elon Musk has said Epstein invited him to the island, but he declined. The new emails tell a different story. In November 2012, Musk asked Epstein, "What day night will be the wildest party on your island?" A month later, Musk emailed again, saying he wanted to let loose after Christmas and hit the party scene. He mentioned the island might be too peaceful for what he had in mind. Epstein joked that the ratio on my island might make Tallulah uncomfortable, referring to Musk's then-wife. Musk replied, "Ratio is not a problem for Tallulah." The emails don't prove Musk ever actually went, but they show he was interested, multiple times. Steve Bannon. Thousands of texts between Epstein and Steve Bannon, Trump's former chief strategist, were released. They talked about everything: TV shows, Chinese tariffs, European politics, Mueller investigation gossip. They made jokes about Trump. Epstein called him a regrifter. Bannon used the nickname Stable Genius. Epstein offered Bannon his plane, his Paris apartment, his Palm Beach house. At one point, Epstein joked he was Bannon's most highly paid travel agent in history. Then he added, massages, not included. The texts span 2018 and 2019, right up until Epstein's death. Bannon hasn't commented on the files. Bill Gates. 2 emails appear to be drafted by Epstein, but never sent. Both are bizarre. One is written like a resignation letter from the Gates Foundation. It accuses Gates of needing medicine to deal with the consequences of sex with Russian girls. Another email accuses Gates of trying to hide a sexually transmitted infection from his ex-wife Melinda. A spokesperson for Gates called the claims absolutely absurd and completely false. They said the emails show Epstein's frustration at not having an ongoing relationship with Gates and his willingness to entrap and defame. Prince Andrew emails between Epstein and someone referred to as the Duke discussed dinner at Buckingham Palace where there was lots of privacy. Another message shows Epstein offering to introduce the Duke to a 26-year-old Russian woman. The emails are signed A with a signature that reads HRH Duke of York. They were sent in August 2010, 2 years after Epstein's conviction. Prince Andrew, formerly the Duke of York, has denied all wrongdoing. The BBC contacted him for comment. The Justice Department says this is the end. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said the release marks the end of a very comprehensive review process. But Democrats aren't buying it. Congressman Ro Khanna, who helped write the law forcing this release, says the DOJ identified over 6 million pages but only released 3.5 million. This raises questions as to why the rest are being withheld, he said. The law allows redactions only to protect victims or ongoing investigations. It also requires the DOJ to explain every redaction. Many of the documents released Friday are heavily redacted. So the question is, what's still hidden? And will Congress push to get the rest? There's also the question of prosecution. Blanche said if the DOJ had the names of specific men who abused women, they'd be prosecuted. But so far, no new charges have been announced. Epstein is dead. Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison. The co-conspirators are either locked up or flipped. That leaves one question hanging. Who else was involved? 3 million pages, hundreds of names, decades of connections. And still, no one new has been charged. The files are public now. The relationships are documented. The emails exist. What happens next depends on whether anyone with power decides accountability matters more than protecting the powerful. Stay tuned. This story isn't over.